Welcome to the solution video for the .NET Command Line Challenge. Let's go, instead of to Visual Studio, we're going to go to PowerShell, which you can also go just to the command prompt if you want, or even to a bash prompt if you want. We're going to use PowerShell. That's what's baked into Windows. It's really easy to use, and it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's start off with getting to a directory that is empty. So I got a directory here, the D directory, D demos / challenge. I'll just copy that. And in my command prompt, I can go, or my console, I can say CMD, or CD, sorry. So change directory and paste in that path. And CLS clears the screen. Now I have an empty directory with nothing in it. Okay, that's the starting point I want to start from. Now let's create a solution first, and then we'll put our two projects underneath that, and we will associate the projects with the solution, and then we will reference the one to the other. Okay, so let's start with the solution. So .NET, that's the foundation for every command we do. So .NET, you can do -- help, and we'll give you help for that. So .NET new, again, -- help will give you all the different options you can do. And there are quite a few right now. So these are all the different options you have available to you for different project types. Even inside here, you can say, give me help on the console, and it will give you all the different options you can have for a console application. Notice also that these projects are all default proj. Okay, so those two are associated. Now the last thing I need to do is I need to add a reference to the challenge lib inside of the challenge web. So .NET add challenge web slash challenge web.cs proj. So the solution is going into first reference. So it's going to reference challenge lib slash challenge lib.cs proj. Okay, so now I've added a reference to our library from our front end. And you know what? That's it for the primary challenge. Let's verify this is the case by opening up our project. So it's launching here. And once it launches, it should be we have two projects inside of it, and it's launching a different screen. It'll come up. There we go. Two projects inside of it. It does. It has the challenge lib and it has the challenge web. And if we go to dependencies and say add reference, we should see that check there for the challenge lib. It's already been referenced. We can also go under dependencies and look for that project and see challenge lib associated with the web project, and it's the right direction. Okay? So that's all we need to do for the primary challenge. Now also note, since I added the challenge web first, that's the one that got marked as a startup project. So that's more a matter of which one you do first rather than it being intelligent and knowing which one you actually want to launch. All right, so that is all we need to do for this. We can close this out. We're actually going to change directories now. We'll create a new directory called bonus. Okay, this is the bonus challenge, so we'll change directories to this. So now we're in the bonus directory, which also is empty. Okay, so now we're going to start over, but this time we're going to create an Azure function. All right, so let's just do a .NET new help. And if we look through this list, one of the things you're not going to find at this point, now you may eventually in your command prompt, and that's cool, awesome. But right now, what I don't find is anything to do with .NET functions. So Azure functions, they're not in this list. So what do I do? How do I fix that? Because that's kind of a problem if I want to create an Azure function on the command prompt, especially since that's what you have to do when you're using .NET or Visual Studio Code instead of Visual Studio itself, because Visual Studio Code doesn't have those templates built into it. So how do you create an Azure function here? Well, the way to do that is you have to bring in a new NuGet package that includes those templates, which we don't have yet. So let's go to a website. I will provide this link for you. This website right here, github.com/Azure/Azure Functions Templates/wiki, and then it talks about the .NET New. So right now, they don't have the templates in .NET New by default. They're coming, but they're not here yet. And I want to use this as an example because you're going to do this a lot, where maybe the template isn't there, but you can have it if you want it. And so how do you do that? Well, you install a NuGet package. In this case, the NuGet packages for the Azure function templates are right here. So we're going to open that in a new tab. And this is just a feed. And so you see down here, if we look, let's zoom in a little bit here, make it a little more readable. The first section is just tags. And it says version 1 is this, version 1 pre-release is this, and so on. We're going to go to the latest version, which is version 3 preview. So that's the latest version of this template. Now, it says preview, and some people get a little bit concerned when they see preview. Preview is not the same thing as what it used to be. It used to be preview meant this is going to break. Now preview means more of this has been tested a lot, but it's not yet been released. Okay, so that's kind of the difference. So I'm very comfortable recommending this preview, especially since this preview is not about So first, this is the item templates. So let's open a new tab, paste and go. And it's going to download this. This is the item templates. So let's open this. There's got a lot of stuff in here, but let's rename this item templates.nupkeg, and we're going to cut this out of here, and I'm going to put this in my other folder in bonus, just so you have it. Okay, so it's already there, and actually we're going to move it one level higher into demos themselves. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with project templates. There we go. We're going to copy that, and we'll paste it in here and go. It's going to download. Once it does, we have project templates, which we will rename project templates. And we're going to move them out of here and put them into demos. Okay? So now we have item templates and project templates.nupkeg in our D-demos location. Okay, so now with that being done, what we're going to do is we're going to need to run these commands. And what these commands are going to do is install our templates into our .NET New. Now, if you're wondering, yes, you can uninstall them later. It's not like you're tied into these, and the way to uninstall it is just .NET New-U and the path. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back to our PowerShell, and what we're going to say is .NET New-I, or give it a full path. So d:/demos/ and the first one is item templates.nupkeg. And it said error, couldn't find item to install. Let's check that again. Let's do the project templates first, just to be sure, in case there's an order here. So .NET New-I d:/demos/ project templates.nupkg. All right, and that installed just fine. So now let's try the item templates. I misspelled it. You're probably yelling at me about that. And that seems to have installed just fine. So now if we clear a screen and see .NET New Help, we're going to see a lot more options here. Notice all these options right up here. Okay, these are all new from our NuGet package, or NuGet packages. So the first one that we're going to look at is this func, because func is the actual function itself. That's the CS_proj file. And then we have to add to that CS_proj file our actual functions, which we can have a durable function, sendGrid, blob, cosmos, event grid, and all the rest. The one we're going to add is the timer. Okay, so let's clear the screen now. Notice if we do a directory, it's empty still. So let's now create our command. So .NET New Solution. I'm going to start a solution, give it a name of Weekly Challenge Bonus App. No extension, just the name itself. All right, and now what we're going to do is, because of the way the function works, and this is again one of those rough edges that they're still trying to figure out, is that the CS_proj file creation does not create a folder for you. So we're going to create a folder for it. So make directory, mkdir, make directory timer function. Okay, so now we have if you do a directory, we can see we have the solution file and that directory timer function. So let's change the directory to timer function. And now we can say .NET New Func. This is the new function project. Give it a name of timer function. Okay, and so now it's been added. So if we do a directory, you can see we have our get, ignore, and host file. We have our local.settings.json and our csproj file. Okay, those are all new. But note one thing that's missing is any type of .cs file. There's no actual C# file here because it's just the project and a couple of files to support the project. There's no actual functions here yet. That's what we need to add. So we're going to say .NET new timer, give it a name of timer function, which you're going to say, well, why are we naming this timer function? Well, because that's the name of the project. Okay, so this is going to associate that with this project. And now it's been created automatic or for us. So if we do a clear screen, do a directory again, now we see a csproj or a CS file named timer function. We could have named it something else we wanted to, but I think this works well to say that in the timer function, there's a timer function. Okay, it kind of matches up. We could have said something different like my functions and timer function is the one we're using, but the two are associated. All right, so now what we can do is change the directory to be up one level. That's ... Now we're in the bonus area. So we do directory, you can see we have the timer function folder and the weekly challenge bonus app.solution. So now we can say .NET solution weekly challenge bonus app.sln add timer function / timer function.csproj. Okay? And I misspelled that. I forgot to add the N at the end of solution. There we go. So now we've associated the solution with the project. Otherwise, the solution's empty, remember. We have to do all the associations ourselves. So now if we go back to that folder, all right, so the folder back up, go to bonus. There's our solution. We double click on it. Opens up. And we should have in here one function, the timer function. Inside here we have our timer function.cs, which is a timer function that's going to be triggered every 5 minutes, I believe. Okay? And every 5 minutes, or whatever this timer is, I think it's 5 minutes, I'm not positive. Okay, but it's going to trigger this log, and that's it. Okay, obviously you want to change it to be something else, but there is your timer function set up. Okay? So that is all we have to do to set up a timer function solution and project from the command prompt. Yes, there's a couple extra steps with adding your own packages, your own templates, which actually come from Microsoft. But the cool thing is that since you now know how to do it from the command line for templates, you're not limited to just Microsoft's templates. You can put other templates in the .NET new, including your own. And adding your own isn't that hard. We're actually going to cover it in a future video. So hopefully this added something to your knowledge base. Hopefully you saw just kind of how easy it is to spool up a new project and associate it pretty quickly. Yes, there's a lot of benefits to just doing it with a GUI with Visual Studio, but sometimes you don't have an option, or sometimes you want to script it out. Okay, so you could create this in a small PowerShell script and run it, or a batch file and run it, and have it create a new project for you with some basic structure around it. Okay, maybe you do that for your starter project where you have a list of commands you want to run, and you just fill in some variables and it creates your new project for you. There's a lot of options here with the ability to run it from the command line, and now you know how. Okay, so I hope you learned something from that. I hope that this kind of added one more tool in your toolbox. Thanks for watching, and as always, I am Tim Corey.